Okay, everybody, without further ado, I'm just so excited because let me tell you something. This woman doesn't even know. She changed my life. She gave me a new just purpose, okay? And I'm going to just tell you why. So, sometimes I believe that when you are doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing, and I think especially when you love what you're doing, it just shows and it allows you to align with people that see that in you, but also that they have that in them. And so, this woman that I'm going to bring on today, it makes me really, really excited because sometimes you guys don't get to see some of the people that are inspirations. And when you look at people, I always tell people find a mentor. Now, they don't even have to know that they're your mentor, but they can just do some amazing things that you want to follow and that allow you to continue to be inspired. So, that's what we're going to bring on today. All right. Now, my name is Chisa Penix Brown, and I'm the chief curator over at Give It to the People. And what we do is we help you with mental wealth, which is to get your mind right and your money right. Now, in addition to that, what we also do is this live stream podcast that is broadcast online. And then we also do the audio version of it. And we focus on BIPOC women owned businesses. And we also focus on the allies that are in the community that serve those businesses as well. So this allows us to really bring on some great guests. And today, without further ado, I am going to bring on Jess. Wow! Come on, Jess. How are you
Woo!
today?
Wonderful. How are you?
I am
You
so great, and I'm so glad that you're on today.
Thank you. You look wonderful as always.
Thank you. You do too. And see,
Colorful.
we're coordinating, right? Yes.
Yes, I like a good red coordination. Yeah.
Yes. Now, Jess, just give them a teensy weensy because you have so many great things about you, but just a teensy weensy little tidbit about you and about She Podcasts.
So I am the CEO and co-founder of She Podcast, which started as an online free Facebook group community just to support women in the space who wanted to do podcasting. I think that the other support groups that were free that are co-ed were a little more intimidating, and
Mm.
I really just started it because I got so much more value out of my female colleagues and the way that they would answer my questions, and then it grew from there. So it started with 6 women one weekend, and now it is 21,000 women, which is
Did you hear that?
amazing.
Hold on, let me get the tambourine out. If y'all don't know Tammy,
Woo! I love it.
so for everybody that doesn't know, this is Tammy Faye Tambourine Brown. Okay, so she comes out to our live sessions, and then when people say great things like that, she also comes out online. So
Oh,
she
I
has
need
her.
one of those.
Tammy is the best. Okay, so if you get one, that'll be Tammy's cousin. All right.
Okay,
Um,
yeah. I love that idea. It's such a great idea to use a tambourine. You're so
um,
smart.
tambourines are like
Um,
my favorite thing. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So She Podcast. So yeah, so it started like that, and then it has evolved into a membership, a yearly conference. This year it's in Washington, DC. We are also looking into and conceptualizing a podcast network. And we also this week filed a 501c3 for a new charity that will help underrepresented voices as well. So
Yes.
we're very
Amazing. Now, do you see
excited.
what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying about Jess? So this is
I
a
mean, I'm
thing that
not mentally stable. Let's just get it straight.
and
But
that's why we get along so well. Yes, right.
I
You
mean, you
can't get
can.
along with the yeah.
I'm not sure which is more of an accomplishment. I would like one with the other, but whatever. I'll take what I can get.
You just
Sure.
got to put it together whenever it works, right? You know, some days you're all there, some days you're not, and so it's always an up and down kind of thing. And I think that's the best kind of way to be. Now,
That's right.
you have given me and the audience something to really just understand that you started building from something that was free, then
Yep.
you continued to progress. But what was, like when you talk about, well, look, I just wanted to do it because I felt like there was something that was missing. And a lot of times people are really scared to kind of step out and create anything, right? And so
Yeah.
that's why I think podcasting is really an empowering platform because people don't have to see you, and you can then voice your opinion and what your thoughts are. But just the transition that you've had, can you tell us from like the start until now, like how many years has it been where you started from free and then you went to say, okay, I'm going to do the next thing and I'm going to have the conference and we're going to go to the membership? What were those like transition times like?
I mean, it's an interesting answer because I had my own business when I started She Podcast, and I didn't really expect for it to be a business. I just wanted a little hive mind of people to give me advice on the best way to market, or like, how do I tell someone I don't want to use their interview? Like, men can't give you those same answers. They don't deal with the same emotional chaos that we have. So like, I just wanted like a little group of friends to sort of, support and, collaborate with. And um we were, Elsie, sorry, I'm doing a lot of sorry, you'll probably have to edit it out. But anyway, I like lost my train of thought there for a second. Sorry. Okay. So
Oh my
Elsie and I met at an event. We already knew each other online. We met at an event. And then when I came home and made this group, she asked if she could invite more people. By the end of the week, it was like 100 people. Then she asked me if I wanted to do a podcast with it. So I said, sure. Then the next couple years, we we did the show and we had the group, and it sort of ran itself while we did our own things. And then, there became like a podcast conference, podcast movement. It was like the first one. It was 2014. And we ran a workshop there. Elsie and I taught a workshop, like podcasting 101 or something. And we charged for it and we made a little bit of money. Then we started thinking like, okay, well, maybe we should make some other money. So we started a Patreon, and then we've done since then, we have done all kinds of things to make money. We've had different memberships, workshops. We've taken people to lunch at the events and done meetups and t-shirts and just all the things just to see what we could do. And it didn't really become a business until people started asking for a conference. Because once you have a conference, you have sponsors, like they can't just give me a personal check for thousands of dollars. So that's when I made a business bank account. It was 2019. So 5 years later. Was the first like business it really became. And even then it was a Kickstarter. Like I still was like, I'm going to do this event, but you all have to like help me pay for it. Cause I'm not. Yeah. So we did a Kickstarter. We funded a Kickstarter. We did the event, and then there was a pandemic. So through the pandemic, I started another membership, an online membership, just trying to recoup some of the, revenue that we had lost, like by not being able to do the event again. And then we did another one in 2021, which you attended. And then we did, and then we're doing another one this summer. So, but yeah, that's 9 years of time. And like for 5 years, I had my own graphic and web design business. And Elsie, Elsie works for one of the largest podcast hosts, Libsyn. And so we co-ran it in our spare time. And it wasn't until we actually had like a big project that actually she didn't even I wanted to do the project. She wanted nothing to do with this project whatsoever. But she, I don't want to say she allowed it, because I was like, I really want to do it. And if you don't want to be a part of it, that's okay. And she's like, no, I'll be a part of it. I'll do it with you. But I didn't ask. I stopped asking. And I was just like, I really feel like this is going to be fun and I need fun, please. So she, I guess, recognized that. As my partner, she recognized that. And I mean, she helped in the ways that she thought wouldn't make her crazy. And it worked. It was okay. It worked out okay and it was good. But 9 years is a long time, to go from something free to like a full, like to all the things I mentioned, when you asked me what we were doing. That's a long time.
Yes. No, and that's important, and it's impactful. And even when you talk about those 9 years, this week, you're still doing something else to add on to that. And I think that that's impactful for people to understand that it's not an overnight success and that you don't have to do it as a business at first. And so like when I was at She Podcast, it was a wonderful experience. And I told Jess, being in Arizona, being in an environment that was totally, completely different during the time of the pandemic was something that enriched me personally, And so being able to have my husband there, that time frame was when we decided to give it to the people into a business, because similar to that, it started out as a podcast. And then
that's way overdue though, not to, because you guys were amazing. You're amazing. I mean, your show was amazing. That's why, you guys don't know, but like a friend sent me one of the episodes of Chisa's podcast. And I was like, this woman has got to come and speak. Like she didn't apply. She didn't know anything about it. She didn't know me. I was just like, I must have you. So as far as I'm concerned, that should have been a business a long time ago, because she's, she's watching. She's amazing.
But that's awesome. And see, the thing is, the podcast episode that was referred to you was Gray Sweatpants.
Gray Sweatpants.
And it was about my husband in his gray sweatpants being sexy.
I know.
Right? So it's
I know,
if
it's
you have not
amazing.
listened to Gray Sweatpants yet, guys, go out there to Real Ass Affirmations and listen to Gray Sweatpants.
Oh,
But
it'll lift you right up. I'll tell you
you are
what.
so, I mean, I am inspired, by my relationship, the people that are around me, but just being able to see the moves that you guys are making, that's definitely inspired me, because even with us transitioning in our business, we're focused now on the curated conferences. I
Mhm.
love seeing people happy.
Me
And
too.
I
It's so
know
fun.
how much effort it takes to put together these conferences, and yours are still bigger than the ones that I do. Because I think the most we had recently has probably been about 200 or so people, but you are dealing with people that are coming from all over the country.
Yeah.
We're vetting them. And this year, when we do this She podcast, 100 speakers. So
Yeah.
how do you guys kind of decide on who those speakers are going to be? And then also, I love the fact that you have diversity in everything that you do. So, what's that decision making process like? And how important is the diversity in making sure that people are represented?
So, I mean, we have been that has also sort of evolved as it's become a business. I mean, like Elsie and I both, are passionate about diversity and inclusivity. And Elsie's a woman of color. But she passes, so people don't always know that. So at first, actually, when we were talking about diversity, they were like, "Okay, two white women, like talking
Mm.
about diversity," and I was like, "I know this doesn't count, but I'm Jewish, first of all." But
It does count. It
it,
definitely
it
counts.
counts. It counts like that much. But she's also, but she's Latina and she's an
Yes.
immigrant from El Salvador, and it doesn't even matter. Who cares? Like it's
Mhm.
important to us. It's important to everything because you can't just keep hearing from the same people over and over, which is actually why I wanted to do a conference and why I started talking about it in the first place. I didn't know that people were going to catch on to it and really start asking for it, but I was at conferences like complaining about about how they're the same white guys speaking at every single one, and why are there men's t-shirts here, and how come all of our like meetups are at a go-kart facility, like what do we do? Like, I don't want to hang out there. This
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if I'm coming to something, like at least think other people will be there that don't want to go to a sports bar, please. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So, I mean, the speakers though, like the first year we had people apply, and it was kind of a mess because
Mhm.
this Kickstarter, like a lot of the speakers we chose had donated to the Kickstarter. So when they got chosen as a speaker, they wanted their ticket money back because they had bought tickets for the Kickstarter. And I was like, right, but that's a donate. It was just hairy. So
Yeah.
the second year, I think we did applications, and it was a little smoother. This year, I actually asked people myself, for the
Mhm.
most part.
Mhm.
Last year, like really early last year, and then of course we postponed, and then
Mhm.
some people had to cancel. And I know that I know that I asked you, but I hadn't heard from you.
Mhm.
I'm so sorry, Isaac. I'm on live on an interview. Sorry. Go 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 go. I'm sorry.
Real life happens, y'all.
I love him, but wow, he is
It's okay.
Isaac is interruptus.
It's all right.
So yeah, we really want to make sure that half of our speakers are at least, um, you know, women of color, LGBTQIA, or both.
Mhm.
And so it's hard to do. Actually, it was hard to do in Arizona. I'm not gonna lie, because it was just hard to sell tickets there. Period, because it was right. It was kind of during the pandemic, like it was in
I
2021,
couldn't
and
tell, but I couldn't tell. I mean, it looked amazing. But you know what? The
it was like
look was
third.
definitely there.
It was like 30%.
It felt great though. It felt
It
amazing.
matters to me. But I mean,
Yeah.
when you look at I'll tell you what though, when you look at the speaker list and there's
Mhm.
not a man in sight, like that was the first time I was like, wow, I'm doing something pretty cool. Because I
Yes.
just like, it was just a sea of women in different colored faces and different kind of hairdos and different sexualities and different, you know, that's a thing I love actually about podcasting conferences, is that this is really sometimes the only thing you have in common with these women. Like they come
So,
from everywhere. They're podcasting about everything, different ages, different backgrounds, different everything. But it's like this one thing that bonds you together wipes the differences and the opinions and the things you don't agree on away, because you're
mhm.
still just a passionate person talking about the things you love and how can we help each other do that. Like the rest of the stuff that you argue about with people online or offline doesn't seem to matter at
Yeah.
these places. And so, yeah, I think that's, I mean, I also think that diversity and inclusion is essential for growth. You
Oh
can't
yeah.
grow if you listen to the same effing people all the time. And plus,
Yeah.
it just makes things boring. Like I want to hear a different perspective because otherwise you're just talking to yourself all the time. I compare it as like, you know how you have that one thing in your closet that you just keep buying over and over and over, like that pair of black pants when you're just like,
Yep.
you come home with a new pair of pants, you're like, shit, I have this
And
pair
they're
of
still
pants
black.
6 times already. That's
Yes.
how I feel about diversity. Like
Mhm.
you can't just keep buying the same pair. You have to branch out and hear things that don't relate to you because it's still going to relate to you, I think.
But you know what? What I thought was amazing was, and I'm speaking from my perspective because I know everybody would have had a different experience while they were there. But within the constraints of your conference, there were still niche groups that got together based on diversity
Mhm.
inside the conference, right? And
Yeah.
so somebody like meeting Maribel, where she's going ahead and
Yes.
she's working on the BIPOC, and then also seeing the Black podcast, area. And so
Mhm.
then I was able to go down to Atlanta and speak for, Black podcasts. It was
Oh,
one of
that's
those
great.
things where it worked out really well because you were able to meet other people. And then you're, for me, able to keep some of those relationships after you're done, right? And so,
Yeah,
like somebody like Bree or somebody like She Well Read podcast, right? Being able to still keep up with them afterwards and really being able to have that relationship. I think that that's something that's important because these people don't have to live anywhere near you. So
that's
their
right.
experiences are going to be unique. And it was so many people, like you said, with different podcasts, things that I probably would never have podcast about, things that I wasn't thinking about, ever even thinking like, would that somebody
Right.
be interested in that? But when people tell you, oh, well, I'm talking about this, like I remember I met the lady that was doing the Pez. She talks about Pez. And I'm
I
just
love
like,
that show.
that's such a unique thing. And I'm just thinking, what? And then
It
she's telling
is.
me like, there are people all over the world that are
Yeah,
into these
it's
things.
wildly successful.
Like it's so crazy, but see, that's the importance of what you do is being able to bring
Yes.
those people together because otherwise I would never have paid attention to some of those things. And just seeing how people market their podcasts is really an interesting thing to me. So one thing that I think you guys do that's amazing is you continually educate. So could you talk briefly about the membership portion about what you do?
Yeah, so as a person who does not have an audio background, I actually have my dad is a video producer, but I don't have any audio background whatsoever. So like me going into podcasting is sort of like I'm like not the greatest podcaster. Like I probably don't have good form and I yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about mixing audio and levels and stuff like that, but the
Mhm,
stuff that I do know is email marketing, website, branding,
mhm.
social media, and so that's the stuff that I try to teach because when you come to a podcast, you usually only know about or are interested in the one subject your show is about,
Exactly.
not realizing that like this is whether it's a business or not, it's a whole marketing ecosystem that no one's ever told you about, that if you don't hop in and learn,
Uh-huh.
then your show doesn't go as far. So it's like instantly, not only are you overwhelmed by all the tech and the things you have to learn and remember, but now you've got to be like a brilliant marketer to get anywhere. So I try to ease that stress a little bit with the knowledge that I already have, because I think that stuff is important, especially because most people want to monetize it, and most people want to monetize it with sponsorship and advertising. You cannot do that. I mean, you can do it with a small audience, but you can't do it with no audience.
Yeah, and that's true.
You know?
That's true. Yeah, and I think that, just looking at what you've been able to create, when you're saying, well, I'm not great at this, but you're great at the things that you're great at. And
Yeah.
that to me is really the thing because, if you didn't have the marketing background, the show might not do as well. And
Right.
I like to listen to the show because I learn something new all the time. And so I like the fact that since I teach, I don't have to watch it, but I could watch it if I wanted to, but I can
Yeah.
listen to it. And so while I'm doing something else, it gives me that opportunity to still be able to learn something. So when I hear something that's like ding, 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 then I can go ahead and write it down. And I'm going to the
Yeah.
phone immediately and kind of typing it in to try to find it out. Now, one of the things that I could say has been the transition of how people market things, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Um, what would you say if you could give people a tip as to if they're just starting, or even if they're, they've been doing it for a while? Is there some transition or change that has happened that maybe you're using that you think that people should employ with marketing their podcast right now?
Yes.
What do you give us one? Don't give them
uh,
all the good.
I mean, Chat GPT. to be honest with you. I think is I mean, and I mean, this is probably the first time I've ever answered with this answer. There's lots of other ways that I've answered it, but like
Okay.
Chat GBT, if you know the right prompts and you do a tiny bit of research, like it will change your life. It will start emails for you. I'm not, and I just want to be clear. I don't want it to do your work for you, but,
Yeah.
but it's like you have a good jump start. Like write
Mhm.
me a bio for someone who's done this, this, and this. Write me an intro paragraph for my landing page. Like I cannot
Mhm.
tell you how many times I've been staring at the page, or before I even write, I'll go researching like like top converting land, I'll take a half a
Uh-huh.
day figuring out what to do before I end up doing it. This way I can have a robot write it who already knows all those rules, and then I can
Mhm.
just go in and like add my personality, change whatever facts it may have gotten wrong, because it doesn't know everything, especially not about you.
Yeah,
Although if you use it enough and for the right things, it does start to know you.
it will
Because
learn a little bit.
now when I go to chat gbt, I can just say like, write a brochure for She Podcast Live. And I don't have to say anymore because I've asked it so many times about a conference for women for podcast. Like I've explained it a
And so
lot.
it's learning. And see, I'm so glad that you said that because I'm going to be doing a new class that's called How to Use AI for Your Business. And
Oh
that's going
my
to be on
God.
April 4th.
Life
And
changing, you
I
guys.
am telling you, I'm so glad. You don't even understand. I have been using it. I've been using other tools, even probably like for the last 2 years, and it has changed the way that I do business, and it does make things faster. And I've been starting to employ that for my clients, and it's just made my life easier. So that class is going to be on April 4th here in Greensboro. So it's going to be a live physical class where people will do stuff, but then we're also going to do an online version of that. So that's the commercial for anybody who wants to hear that.
That's
But
amazing.
I'm
So
glad
like
you said that.
on LinkedIn, I found a list. Like if you go on LinkedIn and you search a little bit, you can find people who are like putting together the best posts or the best articles. Or and so I found a post that had like 350 prompts that will blow your mind for Chat
Mhm.
GPT. And like you can ask it for writing advice, like
Mhm.
from Shakespeare. Pretend
Mm.
you're William Shakespeare. What's the best way to go along with this plot? Pretend you're Sigmund Freud. What do I do about my obsession with my mother? Whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, pretend you're Guy Kawasaki. What do I do about engaging pretend you're Seth
Yeah.
Godin, pretend you're Gary Vee. Like write an email like Oprah. Write an
Yes.
email, like I've done all of it. I've done all of it. And it's like, it's amazing. It's
It
amazing. I mean,
is.
of course, I don't pretend to be Oprah, but I mean, like if you like that style of like
Yeah.
warmth and like you can really ask it to do different styles from famous people or get advice from you just have to tell it to pretend. But mostly what I've been doing is pretend you're a very successful, persuasive copywriter. Pretend you're a social
Ooh.
media marketing, genius. Pretend you're the head of an ad agency. Pretend you're Don Draper from Mad Men. What kind of creative would you create? Just to see
Yes.
what
No, I love
happens.
that. And
Yeah.
honestly, the way that you're saying to use it, I didn't even think about like pretending to be somebody else. But I think that we
Yeah.
all do get inspiration from other people. And
Of
that is
course.
a good way for you to be able to utilize it. I love the fact that for me, changing up what I thought I wanted to say into a way that then is a little bit more concise because I
Exactly.
am what they call a chatty Cathy, right? Like I like to talk, I like to write things long format.
Yeah.
And when it concisely does what, and you're just like, oh, well, then I could have took out like 100 words, right? Like
Yep.
it just makes it so much shorter, which to me makes things easier and more effective, especially when people have short attention spans. Now,
Yeah.
let's tell them about something that we're going to do. So I told Jess, I said, well, listen, I would love to be able to interview some more of the podcasters that are going to be coming to She Podcast.
Mhm.
And then me and Jess had a conversation, and Jess totally blew my mind. Tell them what you told me, Jess.
I think that she should do, I mean, we'll just start with this, but an interview of all the, women of color speakers that we have and do like a mini series on her show. So it'll be like the She Podcast Live speaker mini series where she'll have a series of interviews with whichever ones of the speakers have time to do it. And we'll just like help her promote it throughout because it will help me since I don't really have time to do a spotlight. Plus, she
Mhm.
wants to get to know them. So I just thought it was a win-win to collaborate. And plus, I love collaborations. So
Yes,
fun.
yes, and
So it's gonna be great.
when she said that, I was just like, oh my God. I said, you know what? I could have even asked for anything better. And so this has been my year where I said, okay, first of all, my word for the year was achievement, number one.
Good for
And so I'm
you. Good
celebrating all
word.
of those little achievements. Did you get it done when I can throw the sticky note away kind of thing? But
Mhm.
my motivation for this year was reach out. And I felt like if I can sit down and really take it, call it cheeks in the seat, put them cheeks in the seat,
I love
right?
that.
Or type
Yeah.
in what you want to do. And then really be intentional about reaching out to people to ask them, not necessarily even how can you help me, but how can I help you? How can we help
Mm-hmm.
each other? Is there something that we can collaborate on? Is there some advice that you have? That reaching out, sending those emails, going into somebody's DMs, professional DMs, y'all. I'm married. I can't be out here messing around, but professional DMs. But doing that has been able to bring so much more joy into my life this year because I haven't had a no, right? Now, if I get a no, it's okay. But I
Yeah.
always say that my no's are not no's, they're not right nows, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of look at that as the opportunity. And then I'm just like, thank you, right? Like that's the only thing that I can say because it's a blessing to me when people continue to say, I want to work with you, or, oh, wow, you can do that. And then just being able to be helpful with the conference. I'm like, if nothing else, I can do that beforehand. And I'm going to make time in my schedule to be able
Yeah.
to do that. And now, just think about how much more collaboration could happen from these women that I don't know. And,
Right.
just the growth of that. And so you being able to provide that as an opportunity to me, I already see so many possibilities in that. So we know what's next. What do
I'm
you
really
want?
excited about that because
Yeah.
I have been wanting to, and I write a lot of our marketing, so I've been wanting to schedule highlights of all the speakers. And so when she said I want to interview them, and I was like, what if I send people to your to your show so they could hear them? I want it to be part of our marketing campaign because I think it'll be really helpful. Plus, it'll give you an audience, and I just think it'll be great. So I'm excited. I'm excited that you're going to be doing it. And thank you, actually. I mean, I know you asked me to do it, but I'm really appreciative that you said yes and that you're going to. It's going to be really
Yes.
great.
No. I love it. I love it. So if people say, well, listen, Jess, I'm thinking about coming. Should I go ahead and get my ticket? Now I know that today is a deadline, right? But just
Yes,
tell
but for a
them,
giveaway.
give them why for the giveaway. Tell them maybe a couple of reasons why they should come. Why should they invest? Why should they travel to DC if they don't live there? And what they're going to experience over that week, just to kind of sell it real quick.
So the event is meant to be part educational. It's supposed to be like part conference and part retreat. It's meant to
Yes.
be, we specifically put it in a really beautiful aesthetic environment. We make sure that it's that it's like I feel like when you're relaxed, you can think better, you can learn better, you can socialize better. So we're
Mhm.
specific, we're very intentional about when things start and having yoga and self-care and, all kinds of things that you can learn aside from just the tech and marketing.
Mhm.
We want there to be like a huge variety of stuff that will help you on your podcasting journey,
Mhm.
including social activities. So we do a lot of those too: garden parties, slumber parties. This year we're having an awards show. But the speakers also because we have such a wide variety of topics, those
Mhm.
speakers are experts on those topics. We just make sure they're all podcasters. So there are, yogi podcasters and financial podcasters and virtual assistants and social marketing mavens. And the one thing that they all have in common, just like the rest of us, is that they're all podcasters. So
Mhm.
regardless of what they're teaching you, they're still there with you and understand what you're going through, and they can
Yes.
use their expertise to enrich your lives regardless of what their expertise is, which is great.
Mhm.
It's also like a really nice vibe in the sense that it's not hierarchical. There's no like speakers versus attendees. There's
Mhm.
no like you're not far enough along to talk to, or who are you with, or who are you from. It's very supportive and engaging, and everyone is enthusiastic that you're there. And we try to spoil the attendees.
Mhm.
Also, I mean, we have, no matter what stage you're in, we have education for that. If you want to start, we have a start track. We have like a tweaking track where you've already started, but something's still not quite right. We have a grow track. We have a achieve your goals track. It's not just about sponsorship. It's also about writing a book, becoming a speaker, whatever you want to do, getting a membership. And then we have support your community track, which is how to use your podcast for local and global enhancement. Like, how do you support women in the area? How do you use your podcast to help women of color everywhere? And then we have the self-care track where you'll learn things like EFT and conquering your
Mhm.
fears, gaining confidence, things like that. So
Mhm.
it's really, really well rounded. This year we're serving breakfast. If that's not a good reason to come, I don't know what is.
Oh, food is
Yeah,
always good to
Food is always good. It's not that big of a hotel, but it is, but we do want to. I like to make it easy for people to come. Like, just come. Like, you don't have to stand in a long line at Starbucks. We want to be able to nourish our attendees. We ask our sponsors and expo to bring something that will help nourish them while they're, walking around and doing sessions. We ask from swag that's like, enhancement swag and not
Usable.
postcards. Yeah,
Well,
useful.
it was good. The swag was great. The sponsors were great. I learned a lot. I met some new people. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're listening, she sold it. Okay. It's already sold. I already have my hotel room. And now I know officially, Jess, Mr. Brown is coming with me. So you will
Yay,
be
Mr. Brown. I'm so excited. Your husband's such a doll.
I'm not sure if he's going to be able to come, but we'll see. But yes, he's definitely coming now. And he's looking forward to it. He was like, listen, first of all, I understand how much this means to you. Everybody was great. I felt comfortable, even as a man in a situation where there's so many different women. And I would encourage you, people, if you're listening to me right now, bring a friend. And I mean, bring a friend, because let me tell you what Jess does that makes it so difficult to attend this conference. It is so many things at the same time, and you want to go to everything and you can't, right? And so you have session after session after session. So if there's something that's like your number one that you want to go to, but you bring a friend, the friend can go and you guys can separate. And then this way you can get perspective. They can record a little bit. They can take a picture. They can bring back, whatever type of assets were in the session. They can take notes. I promise you, do it with a friend, okay? Which means both of you need to buy tickets, but do it with a friend, because now you're maximizing the opportunity that you have to learn more. And so what we did was we split up for some sessions, and other sessions we wanted to go to together. But then in the breaks, we would be like, oh, wow, well, what did you learn? Oh, well, I learned this. And I'm just like, oh, wow. And he was like, well, this. And so, for him to be excited about those kind of things and learning something new, it was amazing. So I'm telling people, don't just get a ticket for yourself, bring a friend. And if you are in business, you can write this off. So that may be another thing for you to be able to do. But Jess, I want to thank you so much for your time. I can't wait until June to be able to see you and to be able to see Elsie and all of the other women. And I just look forward to everything. So tell them finally, where can they find you online?
She podcasts with an S.com. If you want to go right to the event site, it's shepodcastlive.com, but it's all linked on the She Podcast site. So shepodcasts.com, SHEPODCASTS. And it's going to be really fun. We're going to have fairy hair this year. Do you know what that is? You're Southern, so you might.
Oh, with the little pieces that go. Oh, well, I always keep.
I know you don't even need it, but it's like fairy hair is like it's like someone there to put tinsel in your hair, and we're gonna have a story slam, and we're gonna have a silent listening experience, all kinds of fun stuff. So we aim for it to be really fun, but you also get you to that next level of your podcast, even if it's the first level. So thank you so much. I love being on your show. This was so great. I've been wanting to come on here forever. Thank you.
I have so many more questions now. We'll have to do another episode another time, because you have so much knowledge. And do you see now why I said like she's my mentor in my head? She's one of them.
No, that's so nice.
Podcast mentor, because it's just so inspiring to continue to see the growth, and it just encourages me to keep doing what I'm doing. I've been doing this for years, but at the same time, working in just one niche and really just helping this group of people, I think is very impactful. And I'm so glad that you guys exist.
Thank you. I'm glad you exist. Thank you for everything. And thank you for your, and look forward to her collaboration with all the speakers. They are the most amazing women. I mean, she already probably has the most amazing women, but they're amazing.
I cannot wait. All right. Well, look, I'll see you later. I'll see you in June. Everybody else, make sure that you, if you're watching it on a replay, make sure that you share, make sure that you comment, and then make sure that you always show up and show out and continue to give it to the people. Thanks, Jess.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.